And then as far as characteristics to look for, there are so many different things that you can look for, right? I mean, anything from trichome production to structure to color, it goes on and on and on. Effects, after it's harvested and stuff like that. What characteristics do you look for?
This is, again, largely determined by your goals, obviously, but there's a whole list of, like you said, the obvious ones. Scent, frost coverage, yield, structure. These are things that we all look for and admire and just kind of add up to things we like, right? Now, if you have a very specific mission, then you know what you're looking for. I just want that profile. I'm just going to hunt that profile. I may even put up with some weakness in order to get that profile. So it's goal-driven. That being said, I do like to look for certain things. Ease of growth, meaning largely to do with feeding. Even green leaves with whatever I'm feeding it. Maybe I stress it a little bit and it doesn't miss a beat. Ease of growth is a big one, and how a plant feeds. I want tough cultivars. Again, I don't want to say resistant, but things that hold up to stressors. I'm going to make mistakes, okay? Like, we're going to have stressors. I don't need to introduce this or that. Like, we're going to have problems, trust me. So I like to see how they hold up against those problems and how well they do. And then getting even more specific. You know what I like to see on a plant? I don't care what I'm hunting for. I don't care if it's a certain profile or if I want a male or whatever. I want to see botanical compounds showing early. I want to see early frost. I want to see week 2 start to see things that you don't normally see until later in the cycle. That's one thing that's almost a sure giveaway. A low leaf to flower ratio or leaf to fruit ratio. That's another big one where if I'm going to have to manicure this thing after I harvest it, I want to be doing 1 or 2 clips. That's always super, super attractive to me. And internodal spacing. Internodal spacing does not get enough play, I feel like. Getting the right distance between the nodes, and then also ones that are resistant to those changing due to the environment. So maybe if you're a beginner grower, this will be a good tip for you. Hotter environments will increase your internodal spacing length. It stretches plants, right? Colder temperatures cause plants to huddle up and stay bushy. But there are certain cultivars I've noticed that kind of maintain their internodal spacing regardless. That's always very attractive to me. Nice, big, towering plants that grow outwards in a nice canopy and a nice internodal spacing. Those are the very specific things that I love to see. But largely, it's going to depend on your goals and what you're looking for. It's just, you never can go wrong with a good structure and ease of growth and things like that. Those are probably my favorite traits to see and select for.
How about the old stem rub technique where you're rubbing the stem on your fingers and then smelling it and then kind of comparing the smells? Do you do that at all?
I'm a stem rubbing fool, Mr. Growit. I'm a stem sniffing MFer. Stem rubs are really interesting. I've actually given a lot of thought to this because we do our Q&A streams for the members, and sometimes they ask really good questions like, I'm getting this profile off my stem rub. Can I expect it in flower? And like I said, I've done a lot of stem rub in my day. I'm no scientist, but I've sniffed a lot of stems, okay? And I can unequivocally tell you that sniffing the stem and seeing that profile, I feel like less than 50% of the time, definitely. I feel like way less than 50% of the time, you actually smell that smell the whole way through until the finish. Usually it changes. Usually your stem rub is going to smell a little bit different than your flowers in week 4. And usually your flowers in week 4, I would say about half the time, maybe more, they change until harvest. And then you cure it and it's a little bit different after that. So I don't think it's a great indicator of what profile the plant is going to give out. I certainly wouldn't ever like cull a plant because of early indicators like that. However, I also feel like, super unscientific, super Jordan Rivers opinion, I also feel like it's a pretty good indication of loudness overall. So yes, the smell itself, the type of smell may change, but if I'm smelling a stinky, stinky stem in week 3 of veg, I feel like generally that translates to stinky, stinky flowers later in flower. Just the overall powerfulness of the scent, the power of the scent. I feel like it's a pretty good indicator of that. Rarely do I see, oh, whoa, this stem stinks, and then it's just kind of flat terpenes in the end. That usually doesn't track with me. Again, those are super unscientific observations, but I love stem rubs. I love stem sniffing. I don't think it's a great indicator of the way the plant will smell as it matures, but I do think it's a pretty good indicator of if it's going to stink or not.
This clip is brought to you by AC Infinity. Use discount code MrGrowIt15 to save on any of their products.